there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth.
This is Rev. Michelle Hopkins.
For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Now for the most powerful hour on radio, here is End-Time Newsman, Rick Wiles.
This is True News, 1 hour of uncensored news, views, and commentary. Welcome to the program. I'm Rick Wiles. Former South Dakota State Senator Sheldon Songstad will be here to discuss his long list of unusual federal government preparation activity that coincides with October 1st. One thing that wasn't on his original list is the partial shutdown of the federal government that appears to be in motion for October 1st. October 1st is the official start of the fiscal budget year of the U.S. government. Since Mr. Obama entered the White House, the U.S. Congress hasn't passed a budget each year. It makes me wonder if all the hoopla in Washington today over Obamacare and a government shutdown is just smoke and mirrors to divert our attention away from other matters that are underway, things that could be far more serious. In early August, there was a lot of internet chatter over a warning from a retired South Dakota State Senator. Senator Sheldon Songstad noticed a lot of unusual activity by federal government agencies, and it appeared that the focal point was October 1st, 2013. Senator Songstad represented Sioux Falls in the South Dakota legislature for 12 years, from 1975 to 1988, and he's on the telephone right now to share with us his thoughts. Senator, welcome to True News.
I'm glad to be on your program.
Yes, sir. Well, here we are at October 1st, and the U.S. government appears like it's going into a shutdown. Let's back up and I'd like to review this list of things that you this list that you compiled earlier in the summer. When did you start noticing?
Well, I've been working on these projects for about 2 years, and I kind of call it my 500-piece puzzle. There's so much going on in the United States right now since with Obama being in office that I've just kind of kept track of all these things, and every time I would learn something, I would just put that piece on the table, and then pretty soon they all started matching up. And then I could see that the whole thing was falling right into line, and then it looked like, just like what you just said, I think that some of the things going on in Washington are a cover-up for what's really happening in this country. That's how I did that. Now, when I sent that memo out, I only sent that to close friends because I think America's got to be jolted into what's really going on. I don't think most people have any vague idea what's really happening. But I did not want to create a national crisis. So I only sent that memo out to some close friends, and then someone in there evidently sent it on to other people because of their interest in it also. And then the word spread like wildfire after my puzzle pieces were released. Mm-hmm. So what happened?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Well, what happened was then people started to challenge me. Well, I'm not going to waste my time. If I say something, I believe it's the gospel truth. And I told these people that challenged me, I just said, hey, I still got more pieces to my puzzle. If you saw what I was still working on, it would scare the living hell out of you. And I haven't released any of that information and won't until I can be more accurate on what I'm saying. So I just tell the people, then if you don't believe what I'm saying, I'm not going to verify it to you. You verify it to me that I'm wrong. And not one person yet, after all these weeks, have been able to verify anything I have said is wrong.
Well, it's obvious you have a dot connector and you know how to use it. And so you're connecting the dots, and that's what we do on this radio program. We've been doing it for 15 years. And Senator, just today, the London Telegraph reported that the Swiss Army conducted an exercise in which the scenario was that Switzerland was invaded by the French, who came to Geneva and Lucerne searching for gold hidden in the Swiss vaults. Now, this is in the London papers today, and so people who are not paying attention to what's going on are they're clueless about how unstable the world system is right now. And so when I read your list, it made sense to me. These are the things that we watch all the time. Let's run down the list. What are the things? Give us some of the key things that you have watched over these 2 years.
Okay, ever since this came out, now they came out with this. The reports came out on national news that the government's got all this new security surveillance and every American can be watched at any time and all that. As soon as my stuff came out, all of a sudden, my emails, text messages, and I think my phone, I'm on a secure line right now. Otherwise, I think one of my other lines is monitored. And everything that was happening was weird. And a lot of my emails were, when I sent emails to France, they were scrambled. When I sent emails to Italy, they were non-delivered. If I sent an email without an attachment to it, they went through. If I said, happy birthday, whoever it might be, email would go through. And the same way, then things started to be deleted from my messages, mail, sent mail, everything. And so they've got me down to the point that the last 4 weeks, I've pretty much traveled incognito, and no one knows where I've been till after I leave. And so otherwise, and I didn't know what was going on because once I left the United States, none of my electronic services would work. But this crap has been going on now ever since I went public because the powers to be do not like what Sheldon R Songstad's doing.
Well, tell us what you're doing.
I'm doing most everything I do pro bono because I'm a patriot and I'm trying to save America. I'm trying to figure out a way to help pay off the national debt. I will tell you one thing, though, just to pique your interest. 5 or 6 weeks ago, in the French newspapers, an article came out that was originally discovered by myself and Lord James in the House of Lords in London. And there were 3 $5 trillion transfers from the Federal Reserve to the bank in London, who then forwarded it to the bank in Scotland. Now, that would be $15 trillion total. That would almost pay off our national debt. Now, here's the part that you'll find very interesting. All 3 transfers were signed by Greenspan and Geithner. And now, this was in the French newspapers. It's been suppressed here in the United States, in my opinion. They were done when Geithner was at the International Monetary Fund.
Okay.
The reason I'm going public, to be real honest with you, is if something happens to me, if I'm right in being suspicious of where that money went, and something happens to me, like happened to Vince Foster. Vince Foster didn't crawl under a bush and shoot himself in the head and the government called it suicide. And I'm going public because if I'm found under a bush with a bullet in the head and a pistol in my hand, I didn't commit suicide. And I want someone like you to be aware of what's going on so there can get a hold of Roger Ailes at Fox News, who I've worked with before, to demand an explanation, or Steve Croft at 60 Minutes.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of the things that you compiled on your list of things that the U.S. government has been doing to to make preparations for the fall of 2013. Okay, you listed that UN peacekeepers doing training, a 9-week training, including urban warfare. Were these? I assume these are foreign troops. Where was the training being done?
I can't. I'm not going to say.
All right. In the U.S. or around the world?
I would say both.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. And you said that there were like nearly 400,000 troops involved in the training?
Whatever I said, I stand by.
Okay. All right. Number 2, the CDC ordered antibiotics. Is there anything unusual about that?
No.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything unusual about any of them individually, but when you group them all together, and it's the timeline.
Okay. So
the timeline is what's the thing I discovered. I wouldn't have thought anything of them if they'd have been done individually over a year's period of time. But when you take them all as a group and have them all being delivered by September 28th, and then look at all the other things that are happening, put all those things together, and it scares the living crap out of you.
I don't have a FEMA map. Where's Region 3?
I think it's the 4 states up around Washington, D.C., Virginia, up in that area.
Okay, and then there was testing of GPS and communication satellites, testing date September 29th.
You can read the list, because the list just is for so they're knowledgeable.
Right.
But the key thing are the dates of implementation.
Yes.
That's what scares me.
All Homeland Security agents must now qualify with sidearm shotgun AR-15s by September 28th. Homeland Security will receive 2,800 mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles that must be delivered by October 1st.
Now, that's pretty much public knowledge, though, I think.
All National Guard units will complete their annual 2-week training in riot control and disaster assistance. All units must have their training complete by September 30th. The Eastern-based Coast Guard units will not be performing their usual training in the Gulf this year. They will be trained in Virginia and Delaware for 10 days of training beginning September 26.
That's Region 3.
All right. Plus, Obama is quietly disarming the United States military. He's dismantling our nuclear arsenal. If he gets his way, he wants to take it down. Well, if he had his way, he'd take it down to 0. But he wants to take it down to 300 warheads.
I know it. Do the 500-piece puzzle thing on the military, and it all falls right into place to what your analysis was.
Yes.
See, if you take all of those one piece at a time and lay them down on the table, you're going to do the same thing with the military that I've been doing with my memo I sent out.
Yes.
It's the exact same thing. You're right on top of everything. I'm proud to talk to you.
This is Rev. Michelle Hopkins. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.